9:01 here on the great WRKO. Jeff Kuhner, Boston's bulldozer. Okay, my friends, joining us now is a man who needs no introduction. He has been on this show many times in the past. Senator Ted Cruz, Texas Republican. He has a brand new book out. The timing could not be more perfect. It is soaring, I believe, #1 now on Amazon. It's called One Vote Away: How a Single Supreme Court Seat Can Change History. Senator Cruz, thanks for coming on the Kuhner Report, and as always, welcome.
Jeff, thank you. It is great to be back with you, and thank you for what you do each and every day.
Senator, I've got to ask you, I really want to get into your book. I think you make some brilliant, fascinating points. But the election tonight, big debate between the vice president and Senator Harris. What do you think the vice president needs to do?
So I think the vice president is going to do well tonight. He's a good man. He's a decent man. I think what he needs to do is lay out the contrasting visions for America that the two candidates and the two tickets represent. I think if this election is a contrast between free enterprise and the blessings of free enterprise on the one hand versus socialism and government control, we win. If this election is a contrast between rule of law and the Constitution and the Bill of Rights on the one hand, or anarchy and violence in the streets and riots on the other, we win. And so I hope that the vice president stays focused on substance, stays focused on issues. The Democrats' strategy is very different. They don't want to focus on issues. They don't want to focus on substance. They want this election to be a battle, a personality contest. They want it to be a referendum on whether or not you personally like Donald J. Trump. And they think they win that referendum. I don't know if they're right about that or not, but I do know if we focus on the issues and substance that our ideas work and their ideas are radical and extreme and dangerous. Look, I think the debate's going to be lively. Kamala is my colleague. She serves in the Senate with me. She is a charming, effective politician. She can be quite radical without sounding nuts. Now, Mike Pence 4 years ago when he debated Tim Kaine, I think Mike won that debate, and he won that debate pretty soundly. Part of it was Tim Kaine came in blasting. He came in like a jerk. He came in attacking, and he looked like a jerk, which is actually out of character. That's not how Tim typically is in the Senate. But that night he came in, I think, too hot and just reflecting the left's hatred for Trump. I don't know that Kamala will make that same mistake, and so I think Pence needs to draw a clear and conflicting vision.
We're about, 27, 28 days from the election. Senator, I'm just curious, how do you see this playing out on November 3rd? You've been looking at some of the polls. The polls show Biden way ahead. Personally, I don't believe the polls, I'll be frank, but I'm interested in your take. Will Trump win in November?
I hope so. I don't know. I think it is incredibly volatile. I think it could go wildly one direction or wildly the other direction, and I think it depends on turnout. This is not a persuasion election. I don't think there are a whole lot of people who are undecided. I don't think there are a lot of people that are trying to figure out how to vote right now. Rather, this is a turnout election. We know the left is going to show up. They're going to crawl over broken glass. That they are unified by hatred for President Trump. The question is, does everyone else show up? And it's a turnout battle. It's why talking to all of the good men and women in Kuhner country is so important, because we've got to make sure all of us show up, but also that our friends and family and neighbors show up. And some of what the press is trying to do with all these polls, with all of the narrative that Trump can't win, that Biden's won, is discourage people, is have people say, well, okay, maybe it doesn't matter if I vote. Well, you know what? That's how we get a terrible election. I think if people show up in big numbers, if conservatives and libertarians and just common sense Americans who believe in low taxes and low regulations and lots of jobs and and don't want to embrace wacky left ideas like abolishing the police, if all of us show up, we could have a great election. The president could be reelected with a big margin. We could grow our majority in the Senate. We could even retake the House. And I'm working hard to take the gavel out of Nancy Pelosi's hand. But on the other hand, if too many Americans show up, if too many Americans say, I didn't like that thing the president tweeted the other day, so maybe I just won't vote. If that happens, we could wake up and see a Watergate-level loss where the Democrats win the White House and both houses of Congress. And I'll tell you, if it is Biden, Schumer, and Pelosi, they will do more damage in 2 years than Obama did in 8.
Senator, bouncing off of that, in your book, you talk obviously about the importance of the Supreme Court. We now have Judge Amy Coney Barrett. She is obviously been nominated by the president. The Democrats are promising a tough confirmation fight. Do you think Barrett will be confirmed, even though 2 members on the Judiciary Committee, Mike Lee and Tom Tillis, contracted the coronavirus? And why is this seat so important?
So, yes, I think she will be confirmed. The hearing will start next week. I'm on Judiciary. Mike and Tom are on Judiciary. The hearing will be in person, but several senators will be participating remotely, which is something we have done many times. I believe we have the votes. I think Judge Barrett will be confirmed, and she'll be confirmed by the end of the month before Election Day. As for why it matters so much, that's really why I wrote my book. So the book, One Vote Away, the way it's structured, each chapter is on a different constitutional liberty. So there's a chapter on free speech, something all of us care deeply about. There's a chapter on religious liberty. There's a chapter on the Second Amendment. There's a chapter on U.S. sovereignty. There's a chapter on democracy and elections. And what the book does, so it's not an academic book. It's not an abstract or theoretical book. Instead, each chapter takes the reader behind the scenes. And as you know, before I was in the Senate, I was a Supreme Court litigator. What I did for a living was argue cases in front of the U.S. Supreme Court. And so I take the reader behind the curtain to what's actually happening at the court. For a lot of people, they know the court matters. They know it's important, but it can be kind of confusing. It's kind of hard to know what exactly is going on there and what's that about again. This book is designed to make it clear and understandable, and the way I do it is I tell war stories about what's happening with the individual justices, with the individual cases, and I focus on the big landmark cases, the most important cases for each of our fundamental liberties. And what is striking is on issue after issue after issue, so many of the big cases are 5-4, that we are just one vote away from losing our most precious liberties.
When you say we're on the verge of losing our precious liberties, such as, just for the audience, what liberties are we, but you believe we're on the verge of losing?
All right, let's take an example. Let's take free speech. And free speech, the main case I discuss in free speech is the Citizens United case. Now, most people have heard of Citizens United. You don't really know what it is necessarily. You know that the Democrats really hate it. They say it's a terrible decision. So I walk into the background of what was Citizens United about. And Citizens United is a small nonprofit. The group called Citizens United is a small nonprofit based in D.C. that made a movie critical of Hillary Clinton. They made a movie that criticized Hillary. The Obama administration wanted to be able to fine them, to punish them for daring to make a movie that criticized a politician. The case went all the way to the U.S. Supreme Court. Jeff, I'll tell you, the most chilling moment was during the oral argument. Justice Sam Alito asked the Obama Justice Department lawyer, said, under your theory of the case, could the government ban books? Could the government ban books if they happen to criticize a politician? And the Obama Justice Department said, yes, the government can ban books. Never mind what the First Amendment says. You can ban books. You can ban movies. Well, Citizens United was a 5-4 5-4 decision. 5-4, the court said rightly that the First Amendment gives us a right to speak and criticize politicians. Jeff, there were 4 justices ready to give the federal government the power to ban movies, to ban books, to make it illegal for us to speak out and criticize politicians. This is about power. The left used the court as a way to exercise power over you and me. And by the way, both Hillary Clinton and Joe Biden have explicitly pledged that every justice they appoint will vote to overturn Citizens United. They want the power to silence the citizens because they don't want us to dare disagree with them. That's the kind of right that is at stake in this election and at stake in the court.
Senator, we've only got 2 minutes left. I've got to ask you this question. Schumer says that if they regain the Senate majority and Biden wins, they're going to pack the Supreme Court. Why is packing the court such a bad idea?
Well, because it would destroy the independence of the court. If they come in and increase the number of justices from 9 to, say, 11 or 13, it makes the court a political body. It means that it's just whoever's in power, you fill it with your justices. It also means necessarily the next time Republicans take power, then we'll add it. If they take it to 13, we'll take it to 15 or to 17. And it just becomes the court is meant to be independent. It's meant to be enforcing the law. It's meant to be enforcing the Constitution. The court is not supposed to be a legislature. And part of the beauty of the Constitution is that policy decisions are made by elected legislatures. And in the 50 states, look, the people of New Hampshire can reach different policy decisions than the people of California. That's a good thing. That's a wonderful thing. We have 50 states. We can have diversity. What the left wants is a Supreme Court that is a super legislature, so they don't have to convince the voters. They just convince 5 unelected judges wearing robes to decree it for the country. And this is about power and losing your rights. And let me say, just because you said we're wrapping up right now, if you're interested in understanding more about what's really happening at the court, what's going on there, this book is understandable. It's fun. It takes you inside. If you want to learn more about what's really at stake in this election in 2000, why it matters for the Second Amendment, the left will erase the Second Amendment from the Bill of Rights. That's what 4 justices in dissent in Heller effectively wanted to do. Or if you want to understand more about the epic battle over Judge Barrett, I'd encourage you go to Amazon or Barnes & Noble, wherever you buy your books. It's the #1 bestseller in the country on Amazon, but it'll really arm you when you're talking with your friends and families, when you're engaged in the discussions right now. And everyone who listens to Kuhner Country, you guys are engaged, you're smart, you're knowledgeable, and this will give you the tools to really be prepared.
Oh, I agree.
To have the conversations that are happening
Senator,
over the next
listen,
few weeks.
hey, congratulations. It is an absolutely brilliant book. It is called One Vote Away, How a Single Supreme Court Seat Can Change History. Buy it on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, whatever you do, buy it. Senator, thank you so much for coming on the Kuhner Report, and congratulations again on an absolutely outstanding book.
Thank you, Jeff. God bless.
God bless you.